story time. Once upon a time, there was this king, okay? And this king is very negative. He's very high-strung. He's quick to react. But he has this buddy, Michael. And whenever something goes wrong, Michael's the first one to be like, hey, king, before you judge this situation, before you act on this situation, just know that this is happening for you and it's actually good. And the king usually doesn't really listen to him and does whatever he does and realizes later that Michael was right and something good came out of this shitty situation. So finally the king's like, okay, I'm going to trust Michael and I'm going to keep him around me because he's always optimistic and he always is actually right about what's going on. So I'm going to keep Michael so I don't make any rash decisions and he can keep me grounded. So Michael becomes the king's right-hand man. Fast forward, one day the king's riding his horse, falls down, cuts his arm open. And right away Michael's like, wait, king, wait. This is good. And the king's like, no, you're disrespecting me now. You're saying that my pain and my suffering, see my arm, it's bleeding. You're saying this is good? Get to the dungeon. So the king throws his right-hand man into the dungeon because he's cheesed. Like, how could this be good? How could this cut on my arm that is gross and bleeding and hurting, how could this be good for me? Get in the dungeon, Michael. So Michael's in the dungeon, this dark dungeon, and the king's laying in his bed for weeks, healing his wound. Finally, the king's mostly healed up, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to go for a horseback ride. I miss riding my horse. So the king throws on his garments, you know, the big cloak or whatever kings wear. He hops on his horse. He's going through the city, starts going in the forest, and then he sees someone, and they jump and they grab him. It's a group of cannibals. And the king's like, no. The cannibals take the king away. The king's a plump, juicy and looks tasty. So the cannibals take the king back to their tribe. And they got a boiling big pot of water with fire, and they're all dancing, hoo, ha, ha, doing their ceremony, ready to sacrifice this man and eat him. The king's terrified. The king should have stayed home. They take off the king's garments so they can go and cook him, and they notice this gash on his arm. And they say, we can't sacrifice this man. He's not pure. Send him back. So they put him on the horse, slap the horse's ass. And the king going back home, and he's like, oh my God, I'm alive. And then he realizes, Michael was right. This gash saved my life. Oh my God, I sent my best right-hand man into the dungeon, and he's feeling bad. So he rides his horse back to the city. He goes to the dungeon. Michael, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You were right. This gash served a purpose. This horrible thing that happened to me that I thought was horrible in the moment was actually saved my life. It was good for me. And the king looks at Michael and he's like, I am so sorry, man, for locking you up when you knew what was right. Please forgive me. And Michael looks at the king. He's like, no, king. Again, that was good. King's like, what do you mean? Like, I locked you up. You were in darkness for like a week. How is this good? And Michael says to the king, if I was your right-hand man at that time and you were riding through the forest and I was with you, they would have looked at your gash. They wouldn't have taken you, but they would have eaten me. The king's like, damn. So basically, the moral of the story is whatever you're going through right now, whether it's a breakup, you got fired, you know, you're confused about what program to take at school. Maybe you think you took the wrong program. Whatever you're going through right now, it's serving a higher purpose, okay? What happens in your life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. And I know it's hard to really understand that when you're in the midst of chaos, but just try to keep that in mind, that there's always something coming your way, okay? I'm guilty of it too. The other day my wallet got stolen and I was so quick to react, I almost blamed my roommate for stealing it. And then someone actually returned it. And Now I have more appreciation, and I'm going to really be mindful of where I put my stuff, okay? So that's what I learned from that situation. And I'm gonna end it with this quote from Seneca. Man is affected not by the events, but by his interpretation of them, okay? So when shit hits the fan, before you react and decide that it's horrible, because it's your decision that marks, it's your judgment that decides the power of the thing that happens to you. Before you decide, just take some space and understand that it's serving a higher purpose and everything happens for you, all right? God bless.